is going on, guys? My name is Amos and welcome to the C programming crash course. Now, C is a powerful and versatile programming language that serves as the foundation for many modern technologies. In this crash course, we will dive into the basics of C programming, covering essential concepts such as variables, data types, control flow, functions, and more. Whether you are a beginner looking to get started in programming or an experienced developer aiming to strengthen your C skills, this crash course will provide you with the knowledge and hands-on experience you need to write efficient and robust C code. Now, let's embark on this journey into the world of C programming together. Now, this course has been structured into 15 sections. Now, let me just quickly walk you through the 15 sections we're going to do together. Now, in the first section, we're going to see how we can set up the development environment. We're going to install an IDE, or rather a text editor known as Visual Studio Code. Now, you are free to use any text editor you want or any IDE you want. That is not going to be a problem. Now, we'll also compare C with other programming languages such as JavaScript and Python, and also look at the basic syntax and structure of a C program. Now, in section 2, we'll look at the data types and variables. We'll talk about integers, floating point numbers, characters. We'll also look at how you can declare variables and assign initial values to these variables. Also look at constants and literals. Now, in the third section, we want to look at operators and expressions. We'll talk about arithmetic operators such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. We'll also look at logical operators such as the AND and OR operators. Now, in the fourth section, we'll look at conditional statements. We'll see how we can make decisions in code with the if-else statements and the switch case statement. We'll also look at loops. We'll look at the while loops, the do-while loop, and the for loop. We'll also look at the break and continue statements. Now, in the fifth section, we want to talk about arrays. We'll look at how you can declare an array, and of course, we'll look at some of the useful functions that you can use on arrays. We'll also talk about multi-dimensional arrays, that is two-dimensional arrays, three-dimensional arrays, as well as n-dimensional arrays. We'll also look at functions in section 6. We'll look at how you can declare a function and the fundamental difference between parameters and arguments. Now, in section 8, we'll look at strings in C and useful functions such as string length and many other functions, useful functions that you can use on strings. And then in section 9, we'll look at structures and unions. And of course, we'll look at how you can define structures and unions, as well as accessing the members of structures and unions. We'll also go a little bit further by looking at nested structures and unions. Now, in section 10, we'll look at file handling, how you can open a file, how you can read from a file, how you can write to a file, how you can close a file, as well as error handling. Now, in section number 11, we want to look at dynamic memory allocation. Now, when we talk about the fundamental difference between C and other programming languages, now we're going to understand what memory management is and how different C goes about dealing with dynamic memory allocation when compared to other modern programming languages such as Python and JavaScript, for example. Now, in section number 12, we want to look at preprocessor directives. Of course, in section number 14, we'll look at some of the common algorithmic problems, such as the Fibonacci series, computing the factorial of a number. Now, we'll use the while loops. We'll also use recursion, because we'll also see how that can be applied and how we can use recursive functions to compute the factorial of a number. Now, I have 13 common algorithmic problems that we're going to solve together, and that is going to be done in section number 14. Now, in the last section, we want to see how we can use C to program an Arduino. And of course, this is mostly for people who are into embedded programming. Now, this is an optional section. Feel free to, skip the section and, proceed, to something else. And of course, after the 15 sections, we're going to look at the next steps. Now, what